Stop whatever you're doing right now. I need your full attention. Listen carefully to every word I'm about to say. It's Saturday night, January 17th, 2026. I was not planning to upload tonight. This video was scheduled for Monday, but 4 hours ago I uncovered information so serious that I dropped everything and went live immediately. Because by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, the COMEX silver vaults will be empty. Not reduced, not drained, completely emptied. And what unfolds on Monday morning will be studied for the next 100 years. At exactly 6:47 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, 3 wire transfers were initiated from COMEX registered depositories, totaling 11.2 million ounces of registered silver. The destination codes traced directly to central bank custodial accounts in Switzerland. 2 hours later, an additional 4.8 million ounces were transferred out of the JP Morgan vault to a location listed under a transfer code I have never encountered in 15 years of tracking these flows. This is not standard inventory movement. This is not routine rebalancing. This is a coordinated extraction executed on a Saturday night when oversight is weakest and attention is minimal. By Monday morning, registered silver inventory will stand at approximately 8.3 million ounces, down from 24.7 million just 48 hours ago. A 66% collapse in a single weekend. I'm Kenzo. This is the Boring Currency Archive. And over the next 25 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly why central banks chose tonight to execute the largest physical silver extraction in COMEX history. Miss a single detail, and you'll spend the rest of your life trying to understand what really happened. This was not random. This was not spontaneous. This operation was planned months in advance. Tonight was the execution phase. At 3:15 p.m. Eastern today, a contact at a major bullion dealer sent me a screenshot. An internal memo from their COMEX clearing partner stating that all registered silver delivery requests submitted after 5 knots p.m. would face indefinite processing delays. The stated reason was custodial rebalancing procedures. I've seen that phrase exactly once before. March 2020, the moment the precious metals market nearly collapsed. But here's what makes tonight fundamentally different. In 2020, delays were logistical. The metal existed. It just couldn't move. Tonight, the metal is moving. It's moving out of COMEX and into central bank vaults while everyone else is locked out. Within the hour, I began making calls. The first was to a source inside a Brinks depository. He confirmed armored vehicles had been loading continuously since 2 p.m. on a Saturday in January. He told me he had never seen that level of weekend activity in his entire career. The second call was to a Singapore-based trader monitoring overnight flows. He told me central bank gold desks went dark around midnight Singapore time. When multiple central bank desks go silent simultaneously, it means one thing. A coordinated operation is underway, and they do not want interference. The third call tied everything together. A former BIS analyst told me that 3 weeks ago, a classified memorandum circulated among G20 central banks outlining new strategic commodity reserve protocols. Silver was explicitly listed as a monetary bridge asset, requiring immediate physical consolidation. Remember that phrase. Monetary bridge asset? It will define the next decade of global finance. Now let me explain why this specific weekend was chosen. Monday, January 19th is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Federal offices are closed, banks are closed, oversight systems operate on skeleton staffing. By the time regulators identify what occurred, the metal will already be secured in Swiss vaults under diplomatic immunity. But there's another reason. What happens in Davos on Tuesday? The World Economic Forum begins Monday, but the real meetings start Tuesday morning. According to multiple sources, a closed-door session at 7 a.m. titled Monetary Framework Evolution will take place. Attendees reportedly include the heads of the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, the People's Bank of China, and the Bank for International Settlements. 5 central bank leaders discussing monetary evolution 48 hours after COMEX vaults are emptied. This is not coincidence. This is coordination. Here's what's actually happening. Central banks have known for over 2 years that the paper-silver market is mathematically unsustainable. Last month, the ratio of paper claims to physical silver exceeded 25 to 1. That structure cannot survive. Everyone knew a break was coming. The only unanswered questions were when it would happen and who would be left holding worthless paper when it did. Now we have the answer. The break happens Monday, and those holding worthless paper will be hedge funds, speculators, and retail investors who believed COMEX contracts represented real, deliverable silver. Central banks will not be victims. They will be the beneficiaries. While the public holds claims on silver that does not exist, central banks will control the physical metal. When prices reset to physical reality, their holdings will revalue 5 to 10 times higher than current book value. Let me give you the numbers because the scale defies intuition. COMEX registered inventory stood at 24.7 million ounces on Friday. Tonight, approximately 16.4 million ounces are being removed. That leaves 8.3 million ounces Monday morning. Current open interest stands at 143,000 contracts, each representing 5,000 ounces. That equals 715 million ounces of paper claims against 8.3 million physical ounces. Monday's ratio will be 86 to 1. 86 paper ounces for every real ounce. That is not a market. That is a hallucination reaching its end. Now let's talk about the $250 price. There exists an overnight physical silver market most people don't know about. It operates through private dealer networks connecting refiners, industrial consumers, and sovereign wealth funds. Prices usually track COMEX closely, diverging by a few dollars. Tonight, the divergence is historic. As of 11 p.m. Eastern, bids for industrial silver bars were $240 per ounce. Offers reached $263. Compare that to Friday's COMEX close near $74. Industrial buyers are paying more than 3 times the official price for immediate delivery. They know that by Monday afternoon, physical silver will not be available at any price through standard channels. 2 hours ago, I spoke with a procurement contact at a major electronics manufacturer. They received direct instructions from the CEO on Friday to acquire any available silver regardless of cost. They are prepared to pay $300 or more to keep production lines running. This is what paper markets fail to understand. Industrial demand is inelastic. Samsung, Apple, Tesla, Lockheed. Martin cannot substitute silver. They will pay whatever it takes. And when physical separates from paper, real prices are set through private bilateral agreements that never touch COMEX. That's the $250 floor. Not speculation, necessity. But Monday could go much higher. There is a mechanism inside the COMEX rulebook that almost no one understands, and it's about to trigger. It's called a delivery failure cascade. When futures enter delivery month, contract holders can demand physical metal. If warehouses cannot fulfill those demands, a delivery delay is declared with 30 days to source metal. But if inventory falls below fulfillment thresholds or delays exceed limits, the exchange declares force majeure. Force majeure means the exchange admits it cannot meet its obligations. All contracts are cash settled at the last traded price. Here's the problem. If Monday inventory is 8.3 million ounces and delivery demands exceed that, COMEX faces an immediate choice. Declare force majeure on day one and permanently destroy its credibility, or allow prices to rise high enough to discourage delivery requests. Analysts estimate that threshold lies between $200 and $300. At those levels, speculators sell for cash instead of demanding metal, so the exchange has a perverse incentive to allow prices to explode. A $250 price isn't failure from their perspective. It's survival. That's why central banks chose this weekend. They are not merely extracting silver. They are engineering a controlled demolition of the paper market and positioning themselves to profit from the aftermath. Now let me explain what this means for you. If you hold physical silver in your possession, you are in the strongest possible position. No counterparty risk, no settlement risk. When the dust settles, you will hold an asset the industrial world desperately needs. If you hold silver ETFs like SLV, your position is far more complex. ETF silver is held in custodial vaults. often the same vaults being emptied tonight. Prospectuses allow for cash settlement instead of physical delivery. Under stress conditions, your investment could convert to dollars at prices far below physical market reality. If you hold COMEX futures, you hold paper claims on metal that may not exist by Monday. If force majeure is declared, settlement occurs at prices determined by the exchange, not by physical supply and demand. If you are short silver, Monday morning will be catastrophic. A move from $78 to $250 represents a 200+% loss. Margin calls will arrive before you finish your coffee. Accounts will be liquidated. Some traders will owe more than their entire account balances. This asymmetry is why I'm recording this now. Upside for physical holders is uncapped. Downside for paper shorts is infinite. Here's what happens next. Over the next 72 hours, rumors of inventory collapse spread across social media. Mainstream outlets initially dismiss them. Asian overnight markets show abnormal positioning by informed players. Sunday evening, CME Group releases a carefully worded statement referencing operational procedures and inventory transitions, avoiding specific numbers. Monday morning, markets open. Inventory data publishes. Silver gaps higher instantly. Circuit breakers become possible. Within the first hour, a new equilibrium forms somewhere between $180 and $280. By Monday afternoon, industrial buyers panic. They compete for any remaining supply. Short covering accelerates the move. Tuesday, the Davos meetings occur. Central bank leaders unveil discussions around monetary framework evolution, likely incorporating silver into a hybrid system. By week's end, the silver market is unrecognizable. Paper and physical converge at levels unimaginable days earlier. Entities holding physical metal experience the largest wealth transfer in commodity history. And this goes beyond silver. Central banks consolidating physical silver signals deep loss of confidence in pure fiat systems. Silver's dual role as monetary metal and industrial necessity makes it the ideal anchor. In the emerging system, currency strength will depend on real production and resource access, not financial engineering. This inversion changes everything. The system was always destined to break. Paper claims cannot exceed physical supply indefinitely. Someone always demands delivery. Central banks are not preventing collapse. They are managing its timing. They chose a holiday weekend. They moved in silence. They positioned on the winning side. By the time headlines appear, the trade is done. By the time hearings are held, the framework is operational. It's past midnight Eastern. Sunday, January 18th has begun. Armored trucks are still loading. Transfers are still clearing. Central banks are about to teach the world the difference between paper wealth and physical reality. Monday is coming. The $250 open is coming, and everything changes.